With King Rimush dead and buried, so were the internal problems of the Akkadian Empire, at least for a time. His successor and older brother, Manishtushu, inherited an empire free of rebellions and civil unrest, mainly thanks to the decreased Rimush, who had crushed them all with an iron fist during his reign. It is unknown how Manishtushu reacted to his brother's death, or if he did react at all. The absence of records of the subsequent events, besides the mere fact that Rimush was murdered, puts Manishtushu well within suspicion that he had something to do with it. Either way, that remains one of the mysteries never to be fully solved. Manishtushu was declared the third king of Akkad in about 2270 BCE, and what he inherited was a strong kingdom that had vanquished most of its enemies. The first order of business for the new ruler was to consolidate the realm. Naturally, that meant ensuring the control of Elam, which was traditionally among the first lands to break away on the first sign of an Akkadian weakness. It is unclear whether there was a rebellion in Elam following Manishtushu's ascendment to the throne, or if he just wanted to preemptively ensure control and stability over the province, which may have been under an external threat. Whatever the case may have been, the new king marched to Elam with his army in 2269 BCE. Once in Elam, Manishtushu used this opportunity to install his own people across the land. He appointed an Akkadian nobleman, Ashpum, as the governor, or Ensi, of Elam, seated in the city of Susa. The coastal part of the country was a separate province, called Pashime, where Manishtushu installed yet another one of his men, Ilshurabi. Both governors were loyal servants to the king, which can be seen from various inscriptions. One of those is an archaic statue of an orant dedicated to an Elamite goddess, which reads, "For Manishtushu, king of Kish, Ashpum, his servant, dedicated this statue to Narundi." With his loyalists in charge of Elam, Manishtushu took one step further in order to secure his provinces. The sources are scarce on whether Elam was threatened from the east, or Manishtushu wanted to act preemptively, or perhaps wanted to conquer more territory, but either way, the king brought the Akkadian fleet in addition to the army, and launched a campaign down the far side of the Persian Gulf. According to the Akkadian sources, the enemy coalition consisted of 32 kings, including the rulers of Anshan and Shirasum. The coalition was reportedly no match for the Akkadian force, and Manishtushu was victorious. He subsequently looted the enemy territory, reportedly bringing back precious stones from their silver mines. According to a later Babylonian inscription, he also captured the kings of Anshan and Shirasum and brought them back with him. Once in Akkad, triumphant Manishtushu shifted focus from warfare and started working on improving the empire's economy and trade. According to the inscriptions, Manishtushu's kingdom opened numerous trading posts all around Near East and built an impressive fleet of commercial ships that operated across the Tigris River and beyond. He established trade with as many as 37 other cities and kingdoms, including locations such as Egypt and Magan, a land to the far south beyond the Persian Gulf. From Magan, Akkadians imported diorite, a precious deep black rock that was used for the creation of various monuments. Such imports were recorded by Manishtushu on clay tablets as following. From mountains beyond the lower sea, Manishtushu took black stones, he loaded them on boats and docked them at the quay at Akkad. He fashioned his statue and dedicated it to Enlil. Besides statues, Manishtushu used diorite to erect many of his monuments. One of the most well-known was the so-called Manishtushu obelisk, a four-sided stele 1.4 meters tall and 0.6 meters wide. The famed stele was created as a legal record that regulated the distribution of 4 large pieces of land in the city of Kish. These 4 parcels, together with vast estates attached to them, were given to Manishtushu's officials in Kish. Next to Akkad, the city of Kish evidently held a special place in Manishtushu's kingdom. Besides titles such as King of Akkad and King of Sumer, Manishtushu also called himself King of Kish in many of his documents and inscriptions, a legacy of his predecessors, especially Sargon, who notably used the same title. Although his wife's name is not known, Manishtushu notably had a son named Naram-Sin, who was designated as his successor. The rest of Manishtushu's reign remained peaceful, focused on the economy and increase of the empire's wealth. In the following years, Manishtushu notably commissioned a rebuilding campaign in the city of Nineveh in the Assyrian province. As the city was apparently built on a fault line, it was prone to earthquakes, which eventually resulted in destruction of the temple of Ishtar. Manishtushu rebuilt the famed temple in 2260 BCE. With all aspects of his empire in place, Manishtushu proved himself to be a ruler of stability and prosperity. Unlike his predecessors, he was not engaged in constant warfare, but rather used what he inherited to establish peace through strength and ultimately reach new heights. However, although being a much different type of ruler than his brother, Manishtushu shared one same trait with Rimush, which would ultimately lead to his downfall. Despite having installed loyalists across the empire, Manishtushu was apparently not that successful when it came to the royal court. Whether or not Manishtushu had a hand in his brother's murder more than a decade ago, he was not to escape the same fate. In 2255 BCE, King Manishtushu was assassinated by the members of his own court. Much as it was the case with Rimush, the conspiracy was covered in mystery, with no sources on the possible perpetrators or their motives. Following his death, Manishtushu was succeeded by his son, Naram-Sin. We're introducing this Super Thanks. The Super Thanks button allows you, the viewers, to show an extra gratitude to the channel and get your comments highlighted and noticed not only by myself, but other viewers as well. Underneath the video, you will see a heart with a $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable. Hopefully you enjoy the content. Special thanks to History with Sai, Nico, Chris Ernst, Panayotis Yiannopoulos, Fred Leckie, Tim Lane, ABC Sheikh, Derek Wildstar, Padre91, Argyris Margaritis, Joel Sally Briggs, Labelle Olmier, Mercy Tain, Luis Aldames, Vineyard Illumination and Estate Care for their continuous support. This was WanaxTV, and we'll see you again soon.